Hey everybody, Alex from SCADA here. In this video, we will go through opening the designer in some clients. So first you'll want to go to your gateway webpage and click the home button, and we can either click the download option for the designer launcher here under designer, or we can click here on the right, and then we will download and install this. Which I already have it installed. So once you have that installed, then you open the designer launcher. And I already have some designers configured here, but if you're opening this for the first time, it'll be blank. So if we want to add a new designer, we would click Add Designer. And if you have anything running on your network or on localhost, it'll probably show up here, in which case you could click on it and click Add Designer. Since we don't, we'll go to Manual and type in our URL here. And that will go through and validate, and we'll say host valid if it can find it. You may need to enter your port, and you may need to enter an IP address here, but you do need to enter the HTTP at the beginning. So once that's valid, we'll click Add Designer. And now that will show up here as a new designer. You can also come in here and go to Manage if you want to change the name of this, change any timeout or retries information or whatnot. So we'll hit Apply there. And then I simply select the designer I want to open and click Open Designer. And that will now prompt me to log in. So I log in, and that will now give me access to all of my projects. And then I just select which project I want to open and click Open, and that will go through loading everything and open up the designer here in a second. So that's how you open a designer. Now, if I want to open a Vision client, I can go to the Vision section here, download the Vision client launcher. And I can open that up. And we'll go through the install process here. We can accept these defaults if we want, that's fine. And then we'll install the Vision client launcher. And we'll just launch it from here. Otherwise, you can launch it from your start menu or command line or whatever you need. So this has some stuff already set up. Let me just minimize all these. Then I want to add an application. So these are all the gateways I have set up in here currently. So if I want to go to Add Applications, I don't have anything running on the network currently. So I'll go to Manual. And that will run through and check. Since we see host valid, we can select the gateway. And that will give me the Vision clients that I have set up on that gateway. So I'll just check all three. And we can add those applications here. And that adds that up to the top here. Just minimize all these. And similar to the designer launcher, I can go to the gateway I want to run from. Whoops, minimized it. I can select which project I want to open, and I can click Open Application. And then that will go through loading the Vision client, similar to loading the designer. And that will open up my project with the display components that we talk about in some of the early videos. And if I want to, say, manage this to open up in full screen or windowed mode, pass in any arguments or image paths, and we'll talk about fallback applications and things in future videos. We can do that. We can also do client tag overrides if we want to do override any client tags, which we'll talk about in future videos as well. And if you want to not have to go through this every time, you can create a desktop shortcut or send to desktop, and that will allow you to open it from your desktop. You can also add to favorites, which will show up on your favorites tab over here. And we can also export this if we want to copy it to a different computer, or if we want to remove it, we can remove that, and we can always go back in and add as needed. So next, let's go back to our Gateway web page, and let's download Perspective Workstation. This is how you would run Perspective similar to a Vision client, where it'll open up in an application on your system without having to use a browser. No, I want to open this. There we go. So we'll open this installer. Click yes. We'll leave the defaults as fine. And we'll install. And this will function very similar to the Vision client launcher once we get into it. So we'll launch it from here. And this is just some old stuff that was set up in here previously. If we want to go through and clear all these out, we can do that. Just so we're on a blank slate. So if I go to Add Application, again, if we had anything on our network here, it would show up here. We'll go to Manual. And we'll check that our host is valid, so we'll click Select Gateway. And here's all of our Perspective applications. We'll just hit Select All and Add. And now let's pick Launchpad KPI and Open Application. That will open our Perspective Workstation instance of this project. And we'll just close that out. And if you want to create desktop shortcuts, export this to move to another computer, add to favorites, etc., you can. You can also go to Manage and change the launch mode. Windows lets us close out easily. Kiosk will open full screen. And then this passes in our gateway address and project URL, basically running a browser in the application there. Finally, if we want to just launch a Perspective session in a browser, we can come to the Launch section here and click Launch. And then if I want to save this as a favorite to pull it up or create a shortcut on my desktop, I can do that. And if you know your URL, you can avoid all of that and simply go to launch the URL directly in a browser. And we won't go through the process here, but it's very similar to launch a Perspective session using the mobile app. I don't have an easy way to screen record that, but if you go through the Ignition Perspective mobile app, you download the mobile app to your device, through the relevant app store. Then you open it up and you'll go through setting up applications, launching projects, basically the same concept of what we're doing in the launchers here. So that goes through loading up designers and clients, both Vision and Perspective, and should give you everything you need to do from there. You can also, just for full coverage here, we'll launch a designer. And we'll just pick a project. You can go to Tools, Launch Project. Depending on how you have things set up, it may default to Vision to begin with or Perspective. You can also select Perspective in the tree or have a Perspective view open and go to Tools, Launch Perspective, Launch Session. Or I can go to Vision, Launch Project, Launch Windowed, and Launch Full Screen. And that will launch a client or a Perspective session for us from the designer. So that makes it handy for troubleshooting and things or testing. You can launch a session right from the designer. So that covers everything you need to know to launch projects in Ignition. Thank you for watching and have a great day.